We are ever so close to the SA Championship. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching the grand finals, the final day of the PMPL South Asia 23 as we get into day number 3 and the final 6 matches are remaining that decide who gets crowned as the ultimate champion of this tournament. I'm Pixis, joined along by Shadow. So Shadow, tell me, we've seen a few teams performing really well. Yesterday we saw Skylightz Gaming getting 3 chicken dinners out of 6. So coming into the final day, how excited are you and who do you think is going to take the ultimate prize?
Oh, it's so very close between the players of NB Esports and DRS, and like you pointed, Skylightz Gaming getting back-to-back 3 chicken dinners. If they replicate the same performance, we never know. Anyone can topple over DRS or NB Esports. Anything can happen. The race for the championship is getting more interesting and intense.
Oh, it certainly is. You know, it's like the final hurrah tonight for all these teams. We know there are a few in the bottom 8 whose chances of making it well to the top 12 are looking a little bleak, but they will surely do it. But let's take a quick look at the prize pool. Yes, $80,000 is on the line, out of which the first position gets $7,500 and so on reduces. We've got a separate one for the MVP as well. That's $1,000 and we've got top leading the charts in that one. And taking a look at the point structure, it has been just recently introduced in the realms of PUBG Mobile and has been changing the dynamics ever since.
Oh yes, this time it's the elimination points that are of utmost priority, and all the teams, they have adapted themselves pretty much to the recent point structure. Now they're focusing on the elimination points rather than the placement point. But still, if you get a chicken dinner, you get 10 points. If you come on the second position, you get 6 points. And in the overall ranking, we have NB Esports. After having a very consistent run on both the days, they're sitting on the top with 161 points, and DRS Gaming only 8-point deficit. So anything can happen. Maybe DRS can topple over NB Esports, or maybe Stalwart or 4MB. They can finally start stepping up.
Oh, they definitely can. I mean, right now the battle is between the top 4. If Skylightz Gaming or maybe IHC or maybe Mabetex, any one of them gets 2 back-to-back good games, then I think we might have a few more teams in the race for the top spot. But then again, we have another storyline where it is the top 12 that qualify for the SA Championships. So SITM is kind of sitting comfortably at least for now. But Deadeyes Guys, I mean, 1 or 2 good games, and same goes for Kunyo. Then things might start changing. Stalwart, raw officials. Well, we did see raw officials, get really close to a chicken dinner in the final game last night. But yes, they've got to do, or rather replicate more of that even today if they have to keep their dream alive to play in the SA Championship. But quick stat comparison of Skylightz Gaming, how they performed in day number 1 with the day number 2. So you could clearly see the graph that's completely gone up, and Skylightz Gaming pretty much had been the best team yesterday.
Oh yes, totally agreed, 100%. In terms of the elimination which they were getting, the previous elimination ratio was 2.2, but it suddenly jumped up to 5.8. They were more towards the aggression. Even in the very first game, they managed to get 11 elimination. Yes, they didn't get the chicken dinner, but later on they went ahead, got 3 chicken dinners for themselves.
Oh yeah, I mean, those 2 in the Sanhok, and to end it all, that Erangel fiasco, which we absolutely loved, right? The way Skylightz Gaming was playing, the kind of patience they showed, and all their decision making was clearly on point. And this is where you could see all these players being so happy about it, and it was much needed for a team like Skylightz Gaming, who sort of lost their old glory, right? It's kind of a redemption arc going on for the Nepali team. But yes, the battle overall is between 4 teams right now. That is DRS, we've got NB, then we've got For Miracle Vibes and Stalwart Esports. Now, Stalwart Esports have been in the contention just considering the fact that they had gotten so much of those bonus points. Haven't seen anything flashy out of them, at least as of now. The final days, the final games of Erangel have gone in their favor, but this is one of those teams that has also been impressing us with their performance. But from day number 1 to day number 2, we witnessed a slight dip, but still I must say they're holding off pretty well.
Day number one, NB Esports, they were able to get one chicken dinner in the very last Erangel, but on day number two, no chicken dinner. That's why there is a certain dip. But in terms of the elimination points, in terms of the performance, they were performing really good. Even in the first Miramar, they came on the second spot. The second Sanhok also, they came on the third position. So yeah, NB Esports, they have been having a very consistent run.
Oh yeah, I mean, one thing for sure, right? Yesterday we did see Sek even stepping up to the occasion, and we did kind of highlight how important he was as a member of the team, right? Whenever it's something or the other happens to Mondo, Office Boy, he has always been one of those players who kind of holds the team together, right? So I'm kind of waiting, or rather excited to see more out of Sek and how he performs tonight. But at the same time, speculations will be on DRS as to how they're going to be playing, how they're going to hold on to that top spot. They've been really consistent. But taking a look at the schedule, a quick one. So it's going to be Miramar, Sanhok, Erangel again. That will be repeated once more. So 6 matches to decide the fate of these teams. And only the top 12 folks qualify for the SC Championship. And whosoever gets to be the winner takes home $7,500, the lion's share of the $80,000 prize pool that we had. And we also get to find our MVP, out of which I think Top is apparently leading the charts, and quite deservedly so, because he's one of those players who has never lost form, has he?
Oh, he never lost the form. Yes, in the league plays also, he was the top contender for the MVP race, where East from the side of 4MV was also giving him tough competition. But this time it is only Tops, and now the dreaded moment of the day, prediction time fixes.
Yeah, for me, I think I've I have come here deciding my predictions already. It's going to be raw officials throughout. All 6 games raw officials, and I would urge you, Bhavna, to go for Seal. I mean, we would want to see a little bit of that masala brewing up at the bottom half of the table. What about you?
Okay, okay. My prediction goes for Seal Esports.
All right. So, to our humble request to the production, I mean, just lock it in for the remainder of the games, because we're not going to be jinxing the teams at the top table. So it's better that we keep things down below over there. I mean, if Raw or Seal win, then we're gonna get those one prediction right, for which I'll be really happy about. Yes, you can see that. But yeah, I think it's now time to come back to Miramar, right? Miramar has been one of those maps where the Mongolians tend to dominate a lot. But yesterday was sort of a different story. Yesterday we did see high voltage, absolutely electrifying the opposition. I mean, the way they were playing. So I kind of I'm really looking forward to them today, because just barring that one game and those early fights that they engaged and kind of got away with it, in the mid game to the late game, the transition has been really difficult.
Yeah, 100% agreed. High voltage, they have stepped up big time in the grand finals yesterday. In the first Miramar, they got a chicken, and even in the second Miramar, they came so very close where Assassin was on the lower ground, and 4MV East had the height advantage in a tree trunk. So he got the chicken dinner. But yes, high voltage, that could have been a second chicken dinner for them in the map of Miramar. So in Miramar, high voltage is definitely a team to look out for. But 4MV also and Stalwart, they are caught in the rotations, but 4MV, they are lucky in terms of the circle we have been having these days in Miramar. So yeah, 4MV can also be a team to get a chicken dinner.
No, just hoping so, right? Hoping that could be the case for Miracle Vibes. Yesterday, the final Miramar really went down to the wire. It was an intense 1v1. I think it was Apex and Assassin, if my memory serves me right. But what's happened in the past has happened. Shadow, let's just head in to a fresh new day where all these teams are going to be trying their hands out, and let's see what happens. The flight path trajectory all the way from Los Leones towards Torre Moda, and yesterday we had some similar circles. Today something I want to witness something happening maybe around Los Leones. I mean, it's I think been ages, and it's not even been on a single instance where we could witness a Los Leones zone. So I want to see something like that happening, because Illumin8 Crew, day 1 they were amazing. Day 2, number 2 comes in, and somewhere down the line they kind of vanished.
Yeah, they had only one good game. That was also the first Erangel of yesterday. Yeah, day number one, I8 they got two chicken dinners. So I8 are also looking for that contestation of the top spot in the overall leaderboard. And if the circle goes towards the side of Los Leones, well, I8 they are going to be very happy. But the chances are very slim because time and time again we have been having either a circle towards the northern side or a circle towards Chumasera where 4MV drop in. So this time really hope something different comes in a complete southern eastern circle. Even the players of TRZ they need some points, and if that happens I think a southern eastern circle is something TRZ should be hoping for. But at least okay, it's somewhere close to southern east.
I'm happy. I'll take this, right? I wanted a Los Leones zone. I've gotten one. And this sort of kind of opens up to a lot of possibilities, right? There's still, Picardo Hills in contention. Then you've got the areas of Minas Gerais or La Benedita, where we've seen those circles take those shifts. There have been those rare occurrences where we kind of witness the circle going a little southeast of Chumacera over the hills. And that is going to be a treat for all our viewers. But as of now, it's going to be the usual, drops for all these teams. For Medical Vibes, they've dropped down directly a steep drop for them, and I think they're going to make their way towards Chumasera pretty much sooner or later. And Raw, Yeta Utas, Audi, these boys, yesterday, the final game was something to be remembering, something that was worth remembering, right? And today, I'm going to expect nothing less from them. I just want to see them go all out, engage in those fights. You never know, one step at a time, and if they keep on hitting, there will be a point where they might succeed, right, where they might pose a threat. But if they kind of fluster up in the first three games, then the chances of making it to the SSC is pretty much done and dusted.
Chances are that they won't be able to qualify because this day is so very pivotal for all the teams who are on the bottom, like Seal Esports, TRZ, especially the plus of Raw officials, because Raw officials they need too many points. There are 25 points deficit from the team sitting on the 12th spot. That is going to be SITM. So they need too many points. They need to replicate the same performance. Yes, yesterday we did see a fantastic performance from the side of Yeta Uta. In fact, Yeta Uta was a guy who was performing really good even in the league plays from the side of Raw officials. On day number one, there was a certain dip in his performance. He was taken out pretty early in the game. That is why Raw lads was struggling a little bit on day one. But finally, Yeta Uta was able to find those initial openings onto the opponent, and that is where Raw capitalized. Now they have to be so very cautious. The split that is coming from their side, 2 plus, so close to the plus of 4MB. So Raw, they need to be a bit cautious right now. But IHC, talking about this team also, yesterday they did have a very good game in the one of the Sanhok. But other than that, I think IHC were also missing yesterday.
Yeah, I think IHC they kind of engaged in a lot of unwanted fights, right? They were forcing a lot of fights, and eventually there were teams that could just take them down there. And that Sanhok game, if you remember, right? They were doing so good. They kind of wiped out for Miracle Vibes, and then they decided to go after Kunyo TRZ, and we saw what happened to them and how easily they were kind of destroyed there over there. And it was Degree who did majority of the damage out there. So that's definitely one thing that IHC really needs to watch out for. In fact, instead of being the aggressors, just hold a good point and just try to defend with all your might, and that might yield them some good results. Because considering how they were playing in the first day, I felt like yes, this is a team that could contest for the top three, but they kind of have lost their grasp out of the top three, right? So today is the day where they have to again, kind of start afresh, again start building up those points and take fights in which they can control the situation. Another one of those instances was, I think, the map of Miramar, the second one where they decided to barge in on T2K, and we all saw what Jane did to them and what happened, what followed suit. It was DRS, it was Skylightz Gaming, from the backlines for Medical Vibes, so many teams. I mean, I kind of love the love actions like that. But right now, who we have in front of us is Team Stalwart Esports, a team that a lot of people thought would have no difficulties winning this tournament. But yes, in the league stages they were looking really sound. But in the grand finals, hasn't they haven't really opened up, right? Every single time we see they've win a few early fights, and then while transitioning, it's been the same old story all over again. They lose out on two of the players, and they have nothing to fight for. I think we finally saw Stalwart Esports a decent performance in the final game of Erangel. Then they decided to push in on Raw, for which they were so well prepared and fended them off.
Yeah, but that tends to happen, Fixers. When you are the top team in the league plays, you have so many matches here in your hands. Even if you try to bring something out of the box, your opponents, not just one, all the teams in the lobby are reading you. Their analysts, their coaches are reading onto your strategies. They are coming with the counter strat, and that is something that is going to come and bite you in the back in the grand finals. That could be the reason where 4MV and Stalwart Esports were struggling a little bit on day number one. 4MV finally they have recovered. They are capitalizing on those elimination points. They have started getting those chicken dinners. But in league plays, it was Illumin8 that was a team that became an ugly thorn for the players of 4MV, and this time it looks like it is the players of IHC, because it's not just one or two times. So many times we have seen IHC and 4MV go up against each other, or actually 4MV barging into the compounds of IHC time and time again, where IHC they have always been prepared. They were anticipating kind of the players of 4MV. So yeah, that is something also that you need to work on. But talking about other teams, Leo Esports, this is a team that stepped up big time yesterday. They got a chicken dinner for themselves in one of the Erangel. The second Sanhok, they came so very close where the players of Skylightz Gaming got the chicken dinner, but still they had very decent amount of elimination points in their hands. They came on the second spot. So Leo Esports are also uh, amping up their gameplay day by day.
Yeah, I think Leo Esports is a squad that has uh, has had a better graph compared to the remainder of the teams. Barring the top order teams, the teams that are in the top upper echelon. So I think I've really liked how they've been playing lately, how they've been progressing over time, and yeah, get a few chicken dinners, and they're quite comfortable also at the spot they're holding on to. So right now, what their immediate objective will be, of course, to kind of make sure that they're getting into SSE, because the kind of battle that is brewing in the top four. I think somebody needs to really rack up at least that 20 points or 25 points advantage in the first three games, because if they do not, in the final three, we will see the teams at the bottom half of the table. They kind of start to get a little more aggressive, so they do not hesitate in taking those fights, and at time they can be really dangerous. And this is one of those circle shifts that I said, one of the rather uncommon rare occurrences where it kind of tends to go a little down south, and Raw have the optimum control over the map as of now. All they've got to do is find a good hill to find cover and just sit there, watch all these teams rotate, watch everybody fighting around them, and replicate something like what they did in Erangel yesterday. I'm not asking for a chicken dinner, but if they can use the altitude to their favor, if they can get a few more kills here and there, and kind of end with 10 12 elim points, and then maybe get a second or third spot, and if they can continue doing that, Shadow, then their chances of making it to the SC championship will be real.
100% agreed, because look at SITM Esports. They are coming from the northern front, and so many rotations are happening. So for SITM, this game is not going to be that easy. On the other side, Raw officials, like you said, they do have a position advantage, circle advantage, and only 25 points deficit. One chicken dinner, they can cover up that distance. But right now, we have a fight breaking in between the players of T2K and Leo Esports, where Mr. Smokey is ready with a grenade, but he's not going to find any sort of connection. On the other side, we have Jane and Siok. The grenades are coming to and fro, and perfect one on Haidami. Jane brings in and knocks him down. Now Leo, they are down to two men, and Mr. Smokey also goes down, leaving Liquid and Sus all by himself. Instant confirmation on Mr. Smokey. Now the numbers are not favoring the case of Leo, and T2K, they are looking so aggressive right now.
Yeah, I like what they're doing. They've kind of completely isolated Liquid, and they're going to make a push at his direction. There you go, pushing in tandem. Liquid still holding out on his own, has managed to get a few knocks here and there, and now Suyoga will have to chime in. It's going to be Sussex, the last player surviving, as T2K making sure that they do not suffer more casualties. But Sussex decides to be the aggressor, but Suyog was so well prepared. So it was the hunters who went out for hunting and eventually just became the hunted, right? because T2K, they were just with 2 players, and the cavalry arrived really quickly. And courtesy to Jade with that grenade on Haitami, that's where things started going south for Leo Esports. And we were just, praising Leo Esports, how they have developed, how they've evolved as a team. And this is what happens. This is the only reason, Shadow, that I refrain from making any sort of predictions.
It's so very difficult because all these teams are so capable. Even the players of T2K, they are 37 points deficit from the top spot. And okay, let's face it, it's not so easy to cover it up. They can still increase their bank balance by coming in the top 5. Right now, they are in the epicenter. Perfect synergy came in when they were pushing onto the players of Leo Esports. They were there like a pack of wolves hunting the players of Leo Esports. Perfect grenades were coming in. And the moment they realized Leo, they don't have the numbers, they just barged into their compound, taking down Liquid and then sus. But we have another fight that might potentially break in between the players of Skylightz Gaming and 4MV, because Skylightz, they're trying to move in from the western front with the players of 4MV. They do have a certain height advantage and they can spot the players of Skylightz Gaming. So Skylightz, they need to be a bit alert and cautious at this point.
Oh yeah, I think they will have to be. And at this point, Skylight's Gaming, a lot of eyes are going to be on them, and especially the worst possible opponent that they can imagine right now for Medical Vibes. They are keeping an eye on them, and that's going to be a little bit of a tough task. How do they make it successfully inside the circle, especially when they're kind of pushing in from the western side? And this was sort of anticipated. Nima goes falling down. And that is not where their woes end, right? You've also got NB Esports in the nearby vicinity. And with East getting that second knock, I think for Medical Vibes, we all know what they're up to right now. They would instantly want to get in and just try to inch the gap a little bit closer. But Skylightz Gaming making no delay over here, just trying to apply that extra bit of pressure on for Medical Vibes so that they can get the rest back at the very least. But no, things have gotten completely topsy-turvy for them as another one goes falling down, bites the dust, as AJ still somehow managing to buy some time, but not at the best of HP, does not have enough time to heal himself and find some cover. In fact, administers that first aid, and you can see Nima, he's already decided to escape, and he wants to go on to save his life because AJ seems like he's a lost cause over there, stuck all by his lonesome as Stock, just trying to drive around with his monster truck, searching for AJ's whereabouts, as No Fear and Mafia Ninja, they lie in vain, just yelling, screaming in pain, but nobody to hear them out. But AJ, if he can buy a little bit more time, then maybe could force out a revival, but that does not seem possible anymore because Talk and East have already decided to go for the push.
No, it was impossible to save the players of Skylightz Gaming right now, but right now 4MV looks like they are also in the crosshairs of Nima. At the same time, NB Esports, Sek with a perfect mini shots takes down one player from the side of 4MV, and that is not just a single normal player, that was Dog the Grenadier. He has been eliminated. Now 4MV left with only 3 players. On the other side, we have TRZ breaking fight with the players of IHC, where Degree with those grenades is looking for some kind of an opening, but no connection whatsoever. On the other side, IHC, they are ready with those buggies, trying to lure the players out of the cover area, get to know about their position, and one of the player, Alex, he received hefty damage from that grenade.
Yeah, IHC, they're kind of opting for that bait and switch strat, hoping somebody just gets out of their position and tends to shoot at their direction, and the ones providing cover would get the knock instead. But TRZ exercising extreme caution over there. Mamba, you could see, just trying to thread the needle, just trying to spot a little bit of those pixels and maybe then take a few shots here and there. Does not have any grenades, and Hattie had a few utils that she could have used, could have at least applied a little bit of pressure on IHC. IHC understand the gravity of situation. Now again, trying to force this fight, getting a little close and personal on towards Degree. Degree hides in that little shroud of smoke, and now Zyol decides to attack in. And with that, Skarl just goes spraying down, hoping a shot would connect, eventually wanting to drive over, but Zyol finds a knock as Godless charges in, and there you can see somehow Kunyo TRZ, they are holding with all their might that they have. As you can see, Red is the final player surviving as Demo. He's got to somehow protect his team, get Godless back on his toes, which is not going to happen as Kunyo TRZ have managed to get that rest back on Mamba, as now it has all fallen down towards Demo, where he's got to pick a fight against two. Rare, he's been taking a few damage right at that position, but eventually, somehow succeeding TRZ, managing to keep their players alive, and in fact, rather hoping that they could get a few more revivals, as Alex just trying to impart as much information as possible, as Rare deciding to, kind of administer that first aid, and Demo takes it as a golden opportunity and takes him out of the picture. But at this point, IHC really need to get the players back alive, which I don't think is going to happen, as IHC did manage to win the fight, but at the cost of 3 of their players.
Three crucial players have been lost from the side of IHC, but on the other side, we have the players of SITM in close proximity to Seal, where Tops is also lurking nearby. So Stalwarts, they are also in the picture, but Seal, they are looking confident as Rog is so very close to the players of SITM, where one player is bleeding out. The revival should be made because QB is already nearby Dobu. So there is no problem in the revival, but on the other side, we have High Voltage and Stalwart Esports, and looks like action. He has already spotted an assassin over there thanks to that buggy, and with that M416, he was trying to deliver some kind of a lead towards him, but no damage whatsoever. But Zordi in the compounds of IA, perfect grenade comes in and takes down Woofis over there, leaving Nova X all by himself. Multiple grenades coming in, looking for the confirmation. Now Zordi, he has no idea about the position of Nova X, but where is the backup? Where are the cavalry? Where is Sky from the side of IET? And Nova X trying to take down the players from Raw Official. Can he take down Kancha? Surviving on a sliver of HP. I think he can if he managed to burst down that vehicle, but Kancha is ready with a grenade of his own. And this time Nova X needs to be very cautious, whereas on the other side, Geto Uta comes in and takes down Sky, and Zordi takes down Nova X. I8, in a blink of eye, they have been annihilated from the lobby.
Yeah, this is exactly the Raw officials that we wanted to see, and I really liked how Kancha just posed a lot of pressure on the final player of I8 over there. I kind of liked how he just got that monster truck right on his face and kind of drove all that attention towards him, while his teammates kind of took the opportunity and finally just put him down for good. As the circle sort of takes that shift, T2K in a really promising position. Right behind them, they find the players of Seal Esports. Mabetex, day number 2 was kind of a silent affair from their side. Did not see a lot happening, and they'd be rather hoping that Komet day 3, they find some good position points. But it's going to be difficult, especially with DRS right beside you, and DRS, they're showing some other intent. They've spotted out Yeta Uta, who was out of cover and managed to easily pick him off. Now, this is where, Raw really need to just cut down on their losses and move ahead, because committing for Yeta Uta, that's going to be really expensive, considering DRS have constantly kept an open eye at their players. But Mabetex, this is a squad that could potentially pose a threat. If Killer or Gante, if they're not paying attention towards their backlines, they could be in a whole world of trouble.
Southern Eastern rotations are getting so risky for all these teams. IHC, Raw Official, they are suffering casualties where Demo is all by himself. DRS is also on the Southern Eastern side, and Mabetex, they are in the perfect position. But Delta, that was bound to happen. He gets a confirmation point onto Yeto Uta, but mature decision from the side of Raw Official. But Delta, by firing those bullets, he has grabbed the attention of Mabetex Esports, and from uphill, Leo, he has taken hefty HP out of Delta. Now DRS, they have to be very cautious. Yes, they do have those buggies for the little bit of the hard cover, but they don't have the perfect position, where his teammate, I think Rules, is already closing in the distance, trying to go in a range where he can lob those perfect grenades to find some sort of connection and knock onto Mabetex Esports. But now he's going to change his mind. He's going to stick with his teammates on the other side. 4MV Apex, look at him. High voltage, they have no idea where East comes from the back lines, takes down Assassin over there, and that is the moment when Apex is going to chime in, take down Malik over there. Now High voltage left with only 2 players. This is not looking good for them.
Oh, this certainly isn't, as for medical vibes in close proximity to High Voltage and Assassin and Malik were not really hoping for those early knocks on their players. Now, Prabeen just hiding inside that murky smoke. Jiggle, in turn, wants to get that rest back up quickly, ASAP. But will that happen? Yes, indeed it does, as Jiggle gets spotted out by Refuse, forms a different angle and finds 2, as High Voltage, one after the other, they're getting melted down. As Assassin, the solo survivor remaining, what can he do? Can he pull off a miracle? And in fact goes after Apex, who goes for a drive-by, just trying to lure him out of his cover. And successfully, for Miracle Vibes, have managed to eliminate the likes of High Voltage, and Refuse also will survive. And East has sort of been the one who's been delivering those devastating killer blows and has been getting those initial few knocks, just propelling the players of for Miracle Vibes to kind of get the remainder of the players. So Stalwart, they might have lost out on IC, but still a three-man strong team now have set their eyes on Deadeyes Guys.
On the other side, NB Esports and Raw officials are also locking horns with each other, where the numbers of Raw officials are not supporting their case. But like you said, Stalwart Esports tops is so very close to the plus of Deadeyes. And the way Stalwart Esports, they are way too spread out. They are looking for some kind of an opening onto Deadeyes with those grenades and perfect Molotov, and Slayers are literally burning in actions. Molotov has been dealt with, instant confirmation coming in. Now Deadeyes, they have been reduced to only 2 men. And if a knock comes in, there is no chance that they can save each other or they can do anything, because look at the compounds they're holding. It's so very small. They are susceptible to those grenades and the Molotovs. And Stalwart, I don't think they're going to face any kind of a problem in dealing with the players of Deadeyes rushing onto the compound of On Top Sir and Z in action. They're ready with the Molotov and UMP45. But the question is On Top Sir prepared? And no, he's not. And Z from that window, perfect angle, he takes down On Top Sir, and with the blink of eye, Deadeyes Guys, they have been dealt with zero elimination in their name.
I was sort of getting worried because I could see for Miracle Vibes, yes, taking a few pot shots at the players of Stalwart, but now this is the moment. DRS, they have to win this fight. The team that's on the top against the team that's on second. DRS versus NB Esports. This is the moment that everybody was waiting for. As there you can see, Sandesh gets a lock on towards action, but for now, Rules scooped up that grenade. Wander right in front of him. Will throw it into perfection. Does it land? Yes, it does indeed. As now DRS, they will have to capitalize on the situation. Bobbing and weaving through all those bullets. Oh, finds himself in a really bad position as Rules will get traded off by NBS. Fistboy, everything comes down to this one lad. He needs some cover. He needs these players to come towards him, as somehow they need to find a way to get the rest back up. Yes, they do. Fistboy taking down Delta in that process, as Gyante will try to get Rules back up, try to reset this fight. Mabetex haven't yet come in for the poke, as Sek from the backlines is watching onto their flanks. He's just ensuring that nobody pushes on towards them, as DRS try to get inside the zone, but Fistboy's Molotov is going to be enough, taking down Gyante in the process. And now DRS slowly but surely starting to lose out on numbers, as Rules, he's got to fight against the blue and also get in, considering the fact that Mabetex are also watching from afar. And there you go, Leo deals the killer blow, and now just one remains. It is all down towards Killer, who knows exactly where Leo is, but what can he possibly do when he's pinched in from both the sides? As there you go, goes for the peak, but Leo, really quick, really agile, ensures DRS Gaming do not escape.
Oh, perfect synergetic attack on the applause of DRS. That was bound to happen. DRS was such close proximity to the plus of Mabetex Esports since a very long time, where NB Esports was also in the picture, and now NB Esports, they should be in the crosshairs of Mabetex, but are they prepared? On the other side, we have Skylightz AJ taking on one player from 4MV with a perfect grenade. I wonder where exactly it is happening. I believe it is AJ is somewhere on the center position all by himself. This is not looking good, and Nima is so far away from him. If a knock comes onto AJ, I don't think Nima will be able to save him, because 4MV, they have the numbers advantage. But finally, Nima will start closing in the distance. And 4MV, they do have certain vehicles for the hard cover and ridges to play around with, but they also need to watch the 6, because from the backline, Stalwart Esports, they're also moving in, but right now they have their own worries, because Z has been taken down. They have to go for the revivals as well. So for now, Stalwart are busy, but sooner or later, they will come and strike onto the plus of 4MV.
Yeah, I think for Skylightz Gaming, it's pretty much just stay divided. They have to fend off on their own, because they would just want to survive and secure those position points. I think that's their go-to approach for this game. IHC Esports, however, they've managed to take this opportunity, trying to close in on the gap, trying to maybe just breach through T2K's compounds, or just hope that somebody strikes them over, and then they're there to just salvage whatever remains. But T2K, they're in prime position to get this chicken dinner. All they've got to do is defend with all their might, as Action is getting constantly tapped off with that mini shot. And this is that perfect cue. This is that moment of opportunity that Seal needed to capitalize. But Jane was really there. He was anticipating such a thing to happen, and Seal, they have been reduced to ashes. The final player surviving for Team Seal, and that has to be Rogue. How long can he do so? That's a big question over there, as in fact he decides to go after Action himself and takes a massive chunk out of him. In fact, just drives him over. But for now, Mabetex still have all 4 of their players alive, and Leo will get that rest back onto him. Mabetex have a slight advantage, I must say, over T2K, considering the altitude that they have. And the nearest posing threat will, of course, be from T2K, where NB, if they can capitalize on the opportunity, they could also, just take them down.
I think at this moment, if NB Esports stays silent and patient, I think they can get a chicken dinner. That should be the target if they want to be the champion of the grand finals. But right now, Mabetex Esports, Leo has been taken down, but it's an easy revival that is coming in. T2K, this is the moment when they should be lobbing some grenades on the Molotovs in the direction of Mabetex and look for those confirmation points. But AJ, well, he has been eliminated by NB Esports, leaving Nima all by himself. But Jane, with that mini, he has spotted on the players of Stalwart Esports. And Stalwart, all they have is a little bit of the ridge for the hard cover. And the moment the circle takes a southern shift, Stalwart, they have to come out in the open. But if it goes toward the northern side, well, Stalwart, they will have the benefit of the circle. But Kese with the Scarl takes on Fist Boy over there, out there in the open, the players of NB Esports. But do they have any sort of idea about the position of Nima? Nima can be that ugly thorn for the players of NB Esports. But for now, Stalwart Esports and 4MV, they are locking horns with each other. Trades were coming in, and Zed is left all by himself, where 4MV, they still have the numbers advantage.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, even if it kind of goes a little north, I don't see Nirzet trying to successfully make it inside the circle, because look at it, it's so open right now, and they're going to be prone to a lot of shots coming at their direction. Nirzet, at this point, he's pretty much given up. All he can hope for is these remainder of the teams fighting it out amongst themselves, as I think the battle is going to get just heated up between Mabetex and T2K, where NB might decide to third party. But for now, for medical vibes, they have also been hitting the corners really well, and now this is the point where they make a move, and who will be on towards? That's a big question, right? Nima, he's also trying to survive for as long as he possibly can, still remaining hidden. As Sek, he's the one trying to just mow down the players of NBS. T2K, they decide to take another spot, and right now, Kessie, he's going to take the opportunity of taking one of the players of NB down. I think Akaza has fallen on his knees, as Nima finally bites the dust at the 6th position, as the final 5 remain, with T2K, Mabetex being the prime contenders for getting a chicken dinner, unless and until NB pull off something really miraculous. As Nirzet, despite against all odds, that one grenade just taking down the entirety of T2K. Wally also chiming in that process, but Nirzet, he's done the job for his squad. He's got to be the hero for Stalwart Esports, as they end up at the 4th position. But hey, with 7 limbs to their name.
But 4MV, heavy fire coming in their direction, and they have also been dealt with by the plus of Mabetex Esports. Mabetex having the perfect rooftop angle onto them, and they are bringing the numbers of NB Esports down. At the same time, the trades are coming in. Baron is down. This is the moment Mabetex, they have to go for those first trades. They have to go for the rescue mission onto those fallen teammates. 3 players on the rooftop. On the other side, the majority of the real estate is in the hands of NB Esports. But Mondo, that could have been a precise grenade from the side of Mabetex. His position has been compromised, and multiple grenades are coming in. I don't know how he's going to survive those barrage of grenades, but somehow he's still standing strong, still surviving. But Valley comes in with an M416 and a Molotov, takes down both the players, Sek and Kaze from NB.
Yeah, now this is the point where Mabetex go in for the push. This is the point where they deal the killer blow, and they indeed do, and get this important, very crucial chicken dinner for themselves. And that is gonna just give them a little bit of morale. They're still in the top 8, nothing to worry about. They're going to kind of inch in closer maybe to that 5th or 6th position. But such a huge game for NB Esports as well, getting that second spot with decent amount of elims to their name. Now this is where they start bringing in that difference against DRS, take that top spot, and will want to even increase that lead further. But what a start it has been for the Mongolian teams, all of them kind of performing really out of expectations. T2K had such a good position, but they kind of messed things up, didn't they? Trying to just survive in that one little dip, and all it took was just 2 grenades from NRZ to wipe the entirety of T2K. But this is it. You can see Mabetex courtesy to that chicken dinner. Now they find themselves at the 5th spot with 19 points.
Oh yes, they are in the top 5 now, and that was their target, and they will be targeting the top spot as well. But yes, 19 points is definitely going to help them propel themselves in the overall ranking. But in the esports, again, a very consistent performance came from their side. In the last few moments, it was just the position. Their positions were compromised. All they had was little rock for the hard cover, and they were susceptible to those grenades. And NB Mabetex, well, they were on the rooftop. The perfect grenades were coming in, and they were able to bring down the numbers of NB Esports.
Yeah, I think, it was a really technical game of Miramar, to be honest. There were so many things that we could talk about. We will indeed, but let's take a look at the MVP. Has to be East. I mean, this was coming, right? With the way For Medical Vibes were looking in their zone tonight. In fact, the way they started. I think For Medical Vibes, of course, 4 eliminations are not going to justify that 1,000+ points of damage that East dished out, and this is also going to help For Medical Vibes to accrue a lot of more points. And towards the end, For Medical Vibes were just caught between a rock and a hard place, so they could not do much from there. But still, despite that fact, they had a pretty good game as well.
Oh yes, they had a very good game. In the start of the game, they were able to bring down the numbers of Skylightz Gaming with those grenades. They were able to eliminate the players of high voltage, the nearest threat they had for that chicken dinner. So they already dealt with high voltage at the very early stage. Along with that, T2K, they also had a very decent run. In the starting, they were able to eliminate the entirety of Leo Esports, a perfect synergetic attack. The perfect grenades was coming from the side of Jane. It was Jane who was able to take down one player from the side of Leo Esports. If I'm not wrong, maybe more than one. Even NRZ. Well, NRZ, he eliminated the entirety of T2K.
Oh yeah, I mean that was one for the highlight reels, and T2K would be devastated by that. But take a look at the match summary, and there you can see those 5 eliminations coming in for NRZ. He was he was absolutely impressive with the way he played, because I really thought that he's not gonna even survive over there. But somehow he did, and he made that happen. Action and NRZ, 2 of those players, making sure they got a lot of points for Stalwart Esports. And there you can see Mabetex Esports right on top with 19 points. For Medical Vibe, a really crucial one for them, as they also managed to get 14 along with NB Esports. So now DRS, considering they could not get a lot, and I really felt, Shadow, that DRS should have retreated from that position the moment they realized that Mabetex was right on top of their heads. So had they done that, had they even pushed on T2K, they could have still been in a fighting contention. But instead, managing to make a little bit of a defensive stance, kind of caught in the middle with nowhere to run and hide.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. And this time, so many teams were going for the southern eastern rotation. That is where the players of IHC, TRZ, raw officials, IA, they were pretty much stuck. And IA, they also had to buy the farm so very early. But in the overall ranking, no one is taking NB Esports top spot for now, 175 points. But for MV, they are inching closer to them with 162 points to their name. On the second spot, Stalwart Esports. This time, they did have very good elimination point, 160 points, only 2 points deficit from 4 MB.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about. Look at that, how much the top order has been stirred up, right? DRS Gaming, I mean, at 156, just courtesy to one bad game. And suddenly you could see NB Esports and the rest, they've kind of gone way ahead, like almost around 20 points of difference has been created. And this is going to hurt them, because Stalwart has also caught up, For Medical Vibes has also caught up, and a huge task lies up ahead. But as we move on further down below, Seal Esports did have a decent game in this one, did manage to accrue a few points here and there. Deadeyes Guys could not see a lot out of their side, but let's take a quick look at the schedule as we're done with Miramar. But next up ahead, it's going to be the map of Sanhok, a map that has been right now currently owned by the Nepalis, right? Till now, not even a single Mongolian or a Bangladeshi team has managed to get a chicken dinner in the grand finals, at least. So let's hope we do not get to see SITM and High Voltage going up against each other. We do not get to see those early fights. Rather, a very interesting game towards the end.
Oh yes, because in the grand finals, rivalry is not going to benefit either of them. Yes, High Voltage, they may be in a safe spot, but like you said, the overall leaderboard is so volatile. One bad game, and maybe right now you are in the top 12, but you can be thrown out of top 12 and you can be in the danger area. So definitely, SITM and High Voltage, they both don't want such a situation. So mature decision is just go for your normal loot, grab those resources, avoid those early drop collisions, because even, hey, Deadeye guys, they're also joining the fray these days.
Exactly. I was just gonna get there because no matter whoever survives, whoever is the victor, does not get to enjoy the spoils of war there, right? Instantly, just being happy. All right, we got 4 eliminations or 3, and suddenly Deadeyes Guys out of nowhere they just pop in. And yes, we did make our predictions, did not happen, but yes, I think my predictions have been made. And for Bhavna, for you, do you want to make any predictions or want to go with the usual?
I'll go with Seal. Let's
All
stick to the bottom team. 2 teams, let's root for them.
All right, so seal it is for Bhavna, and she's made it. But we would want to know what the viewers think, because the first game of Miramar completely shows how hungry these teams are for that top spot, right? NB Esports, a game that really mattered to them, they somehow converted it, got a lot of points secured out of this one. Of course, missed out on the chicken dinner, but that's not something to scoff at, because those 14 points that they have collected is gonna help them a lot in the overall standings. But even for Medical Vibes, we could finally see them getting into their zone, finally see East making those crucial plays, and Doc also trying to capitalize on it. And sadly, Doc kind of got eliminated a little bit earlier. But yes, the top 4 teams have come down to their senses right now. We could see even Stalwart being quite vigilant, quite watchful. We haven't seen any of those aggressive plays that are not called for, not forcing fights, or rather, playing with proper caution. So, this is what I really wanted, right? All these teams to kind of start looking at things and approaching the circle in a quite meticulous manner, which they are doing. And I'm pretty sure that is going to yield them results with those 5 games still remaining.
Just 5 games, not only just 5 games, and they're so very less, because like you said, one bad game, anything can happen. Right now you might be sitting on the 11th or the 10th spot, and one bad game you could be on the 13th spot. Even the bottom teams, the way they are stepping themselves up, yes, there is still a chance for the players or for the team on the 13th or the 14th spot, the players of TRZ, but they have to be so very consistent. The remaining 5 games are so pivotal for these bottom teams. Yes, for the top teams, they are having their race for the money, but for the bottom teams, it's a race for the qualification to the SA Championship. That is more important, because that is where the major prize money is going to be. So yes, let's hope SITM and High Voltage, like you said, they don't turtle up with their very first game, because if they do so, I think Deadeyes Guys, they are going to be so very happy. They need those points. They are hungry for those points, and they're going to find them in the name of SITM and High Voltage.
At a point, after the first 3 games, somebody is going to just break free, right? Like we saw right now, NB Esports are playing exactly the way they are supposed to, and delivering results. Of course, they missed out on the chicken dinner, but they're going to be really happy with the points that they collected, and same goes for Medical Vibes also. Now, this is a huge game for DRS, because they will have to get back into the equation, because if they do not, then we're going to see the top 3 Mongolian teams reign over the SA region. But for now, the flight path trajectory all the way from Lakavi towards Hathin, a lot of teams won't have any problems taking their drops. Just hoping somebody does something out of ordinary and proves us wrong. Maybe, a different drop clash we get to see. But is that going to happen? We are going to get your answers in the next couple of seconds, because Deadeyes, High Voltage, and SITM, they are, going back to their old regime again. We could see that action breaking out, but seems like SITM want to sit this one out, just stay back a little bit, maybe go towards Camp Alpha. But a different fight's happening over there. Look at High Voltage. They want to take the fight right at these faces. I feel there's a little bit of a rivalry that has brewed up. I think a little bit of a revenge story that's going on, because this is something that Deadeyes Guys did not anticipate, and their worst fears have come true.
This might cost them the qualification. Deadeye guys, they have to win this fight. At the same time, High Voltage for them also. This is so very pivotal. The rivalry is still brewing up. And look at the position of True Love Star. He can be that cheeky player who having an off angle, which the players of High Voltage are not anticipating at all, because their entire attention is towards On Top Sir, Precious Sir and Slayer Sir, who are trying to regroup. And On Top Sir, well, he's not giving any kind of a sound cue. He's not moving a single muscle. But I'm hoping True Love Sir to bring some kind of an opening. But High Voltage, well, they're looking pretty much equipped. The backs are pretty much full. And Jiggle crawling his way, being one with the nature, moving inching closer to the players of Deadeye Guys. But unfortunately, has got no grenade, nothing, just a level 2 vest and a QBZ.
I don't like this. I don't like this from High Voltage. They should have done the contrary. They should have gone after True Love. I'm pretty sure they must have seen one of that parachutes landing aloof from his team, and should have rather isolated, because this is what happens when you do not have the information on your opponents, right? And Jiggle knows that the other remainder players of Deadeyes are just cornered to this one place, but what can they do? Now suddenly the panic has set in, because they have lost out on Assassin, one of the most reliable players of their team, and giving Deadeyes Guys that little room to maneuver, that little room to rotate around. And well, Hatin sort of been their go-to place, and they know the nooks and crannies. They know the places that they can capitalize on. And High Voltage suddenly have had to take a back step from over here.
Challenging a team in their home ground is never a good idea, and I think High Voltage, they have realized it. Jiggle, like I said, is out there in the open with no helmet. One bullet is enough to take down Jiggle in this situation. Yes, he does have a level 2 vest, but that is not going to help him, because no smokes, no throwables, nothing, just a weapon in his hands. The numbers are not in their favor, and the way the players of Deadeye Guys are surrounding High Voltage right now, well, Jiggle, he can't save his teammates. He can't help his teammates. And Deadeye Guys, I don't think they're going to make the mistake of coming out in the open on the other side of the fence, from where Jiggle can get a line of sight onto Deadeye Guys. So pretty much High Voltage, it looks like this fight is not going to go in their favor. But anything can happen. Anything can happen. Jiggle is still crawling his way towards True Love Sir. I hope Deadeye Guys, they don't come out in the win, because this game is so pivotal for both these teams.
Okay, so one thing for sure that I can, contemplate from here is the fact that High Voltage, they know they're qualified for the ESA Championship. What do they have to lose? No matter what they try, how much they try, I'm pretty sure they're not going to get onto the top spot. And at this point, I guess they don't care about the prize money either. So what they're gonna do is just not let Deadeyes Guys get away from here. At least they would want to, cause them a few more losses, because look at the circle, right? The circle's nowhere close to where they are at this point, and they'll have to make a way inside the circle. And for Deadeyes Guys, they're not at the best of positions, right? They need to have those good games. But look at SITM. Chiro, is he aware of Stalwarts coming in, or is it the other way around, where Dobu, he saw IC coming in close, and Jiro did not even have to move a muscle there. And suddenly, just like that, IC has been taken down out of the equation. Now, SITM, this is something that they haven't done previously, right? They usually tend to take a fight against High Voltage, and Stalwart was really caught off guard over there, as Jiro getting a little pressurized from up top, and now they're going to go in for the push and just apply or try to take down Jiro in this process. Stalwart trying to move in tandem with each other, but IC finally succeeding, as Dobu's position also gets compromised. Stop providing that quintessential cover fire from up top, as SITM, now this is the moment where they have to reconsider their approach towards this fight. You can clearly see Desert and QB, they've already broken down for a flank, as Stalwart, they are adamant on getting their players back alive, as two of them have already bitten the dust, as for Miracle Vibes,